Morning chat. How's it going, everyone? How is it going? Amazing how things can change so quickly in this market right now. All right, so let's go over everything this morning. Remember, make sure you're turning up feeling fit and able, all right, to trade today. If you had an awful day yesterday, or if you decided to gamble FOMC for some weird reason or earnings and you took some licks, you probably want to take a day off or something. Anyway, let's get into the charts and see what we've got. Okay, yesterday, another grind up. We flushed a little bit on FOMC, but nothing major. All right, we just held the top of the Bollinger Band, still trading above Monday's high right now. And overnight, we actually made a new all-time high overnight, which is never a good thing because we like all-time highs made in the NYC session. All right, we don't like to see all-time highs made overnight. It's never a good sign. All right, because it means it's a weak high and we might need to repair it, which is not ideal. Since then, all right, we've had earnings pressure to the downside, right? Coming back down towards this 5-day, we have got a gap there from Monday, Tuesday. Remember, obviously giant gap down there, but we're not really thinking about this right now. That's a long, long way away. We can still protect this low, all right? I would argue that it's very easy for us to build out a range up here at the moment, all right, inside yesterday's area, and we've got value inside of that, and that is about 400 points. Okay, it is no joke up there. That is a big rotational zone, so be careful. If you get caught the wrong side of it or trying to play a breakdown before it's ready and you're sized in, you're going to get hurt very quickly because the range is so big and so violent. And we can see that more as we move into the hourlies, and make sure you can see all of this properly. Let's move this down a little bit. There we go. All right, hourlies. You can see here yesterday, here's your NFP. All right, so effectively NFP low, and this was actually earnings high. All right, that was the first move we did on earnings on Google before Microsoft and Meta came out. So Microsoft drifted down and then caught a bid. Meta has just been straight downside. We're going to get into all of that shortly, but these two wicks are basically dictating the range, and as you can see, like I talked about, they are 400 points. Okay, it is not a joke in here, folks. This is not a joke. You do not want to get chopped up in here. One thing I would say this morning, we are leaving previous day's value. All right, previous day's value right in here with a failed look above. You could argue that we've got one of these for a breakdown out. Our location, unfortunately, this morning coming to the charts in the New York session is absolutely terrible to be thinking about a short down here. All right, this is the worst location right now at the edge of the range, because when we're in range, we do what? We played edges. We fade the top and we buy the lows back to the mean, But if we're going to get follow through, what we're going to look for, we're going to need to see some form of rejection of range, whether it be value, one of these wicks, any of this, point of control, I don't know, but we would need to see a rejection of that, and we'd need a trade to hold under the low. Once we get under that low, then we can start having some fun. All right, if we get under this low, maybe then there is a drift back into maybe the 20-day, maybe some of the old gaps. Again, I'm not really thinking about this down here. I very much doubt we sell down into that gap today unless there's some very heavy news. And remember, we still have earnings tonight. All right, we still have Amazon and Apple tonight, the big dogs. Okay, so the market will be in a holding pattern for those, I would have thought. So if we get back inside a previous day value and hold a bid, we probably come back up to the top side, all right, and revisit previous day point of control value area high. If we go over that and fail, we come back down to the bottom side. That would be your range rotation. The extremes obviously are well outside that. You look at 200 points outside to the downside and a good 100 points outside to the upside. So just be aware of that. This is not a location I want to trade in today. I don't really want to trade in here unless there's something very obvious. The trade needs to be outside of that, or a look below and trade back inside. All right, so we're buying cheap to trade into it, or we're selling high to trade into it. I do not want to trade inside of yesterday's value because we have proven that we have so much chop Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, this is your chop zone. I don't want to be participating in there. Okay, moving up into the 5-minute, just so you can see what happened overnight. Okay, so here's Jerome Powell All right, this is the moment he says, hey, we might not do a rate cut in December. Oh, big puke. All right, we did miss an old point of control down here. We actually missed it by a point or two. Well, maybe a little bit more than that. We were looking for a run into 26.50. So I was shorting that with the team yesterday. I had 2 attempts. All right, I had another attempt here. It didn't go for me. And then we played the long back up. All right, so that is your wick low on FOMC, worth noting, 26.50s. And then your high off Google earnings was 26.380s, basically, which we then went and took overnight. Remember, Xi and Trump doing business overnight. We come up and we hit midnight and we go, no, thank you very much. That's very extreme. I don't know if there was announcement particularly then, or that's just supply being sold into. And we then make a lower high, go back into the same range. Okay, so Asia get their exit. And now we've broken down under London. So how we react at that London low, which is also previous day value area low, for me will be key, and how we act underneath previous day low. You can see we're starting to get converging. Right here is now your mean. This is actually pretty nuts that we've moved. Hang on, what is that? That is not a mean. That is not a 20-day. Go away. Mean's way, way down. Yes, okay. So coming back towards the 5-day here. All right, so how we act in here and how we act in here will be key. Do we set a lower high here, or do we get acceptance in range? Do we reject under this for more damage downside, or is this a scoop and a playback inside? All right. We can get some edge on some of these when we start to look at some of the other charts. So let's just move up into here. Why do I feel like this has changed again? That's weird. It feels zoomed in this morning. We'll deal with that in a minute. Okay. Same story up here. Let's go through ES, spiders, ETFs, the VIX, ES, exactly the same story. Coming near previous day low, currently trading underneath Globex. All right, so just thinking about the same thing. Do we reject Globex, take up previous day low, and then do we stay heavy? Or is it a look below and fail and a trade back inside? Exactly the same thing. So Globex and VWAP and PDC, your key levels. But we are gapping down in the market right now. If we go to the spiders, you'll see the same thing. Coming back down to previous day low. So here's your edge, right? Just mark these out. All right, this is your rotation, acceptance underneath, lower. Fail to get acceptance underneath, back inside range. Same story on the Qs. It's a bit more nasty. But this is kind of your range. Acceptance underneath, lower. Fail to get acceptance, back inside range, right? And this level here, potential for a lower high. If we have a look at the VIX, all right, why does it keep doing this? We're starting to find a bid here. All right, and VIX actually traded, if you go back to yesterday's video, the levels I called out, it traded them perfectly. If we ignore this absolute nonsense in here that it's decided to put on from an old chart, all right, we came tagged into this old pivot dating back to October 21st. All right, so we've been push up, drift down, drift down, drift down, started to build higher lows and higher highs. There's your big push up. There's your move back in. If we hold over 1630, it might have another attempt up there. This is your new range on VIX now, same as the market. All right, so just be careful. We don't want to get washed around today. All right, let's have a look at the mag then, because this is what's important. So Apple, in the pre-market, opened up. I don't know if that's the dark pool print, but we opened up with new all-time highs. All right, remember earnings tonight on Apple. Any base over here is good, and it's probably going to try and hold that base for earnings. If we start breaking down early, I'd be a little bit worried, but I would think the options dealers will try and hold on to this until we get to earnings. I don't know where the walls are. I think we're projected a 4% move in Apple, up or down. Okay, 4%. So we can have a look at that later. Amazon, again, earnings tonight. Same kind of story as Apple. Made a new shove up yesterday. Remember, this has weakness compared to the rest of the market. It can start breaking out Amazon. I think this is due an 8% move on earnings. Just be aware of that. But again, gapping down, and we can go through why the market's gapping down. Now, Google had massive earnings. There you go. There's the breakout. Big breakout on Google. All right, can it hold a bid up here? This is a little bit like AMD and some of those the other week. All right, huge gap up. Question is, can it hold like a retracement pullback and base out for a new leg? If it fails, all right, to hold that, we're coming right back down to close the gap. And this is way beyond 2 standard deviation. This is at about 3 standard deviation right now. All right, very, very frothy. You do not want to be a buyer up there in Google. You are asking to get hurt. This is where the market starts to get weak now. All right, we go into Meta, absolutely puked out. All right, I thought it was a bit harsh. The earnings weren't that bad, but it does have a one-time fee that it's got to pay the Fed. And yes, you can see, I mean, that is rather nasty, and it's starting to look terrible, to be honest. Into this pocket, I would imagine we'll get some level of pause into here. Now, if it gets down there, it's actually a fabulous buy. Now, this is the area that we want to buy the Qs in, remember, because this is our April pivot. There's the drive up, and here's the pullback in. It's starting to roll over here, and we can think about where we might be interested. There we go, like I talked about. So 50% retracement would be ideal. We're not there yet. It probably starts to find a bid into sort of 63s today, if not before. But yeah, that is a huge puke out in Meta, and that is giving the market a little bit of fear. But the earnings honestly weren't that bad. They were actually pretty good. Microsoft, same kind of story. All right, this was rather disgusting on earnings. So we had the options volatility, right, set a new high earlier that day, drive up and just puked it, and then walked it back up, got stuck at that same level, puked it back down, walking it back up again. Again, the earnings weren't bad on Microsoft. It will be about the cash on hand, because they just spent God knows how many billions buying a piece of OpenAI, which long term will generate them a huge amount of money, but it will be about the cash on hand. But you can see very, very volatile. All right, we're extremely volatile in here. When we think about these moves, right, you're talking about 7% moves in the pre-market. So just be careful. If this starts to let go, it might drag the market down. Same with this. This is even more volatile. This is a huge move, folks. All right, when we just think about this, 12% move so far. All right, be careful. Nvidia holding up okay, but again, this is another gap down. So all of the market currently gapping down. All right, another gap down, but looking okay. But if we're going to come all the way back to some level of normality, it's probably going to be sort of 190s. Obviously, we've got the 200 mark over under psychological level. And Tesla, another gap down. So weakness this morning, very, very clear in tech. We have weakness in tech this morning. All right, so it might be good to be a seller, but the key thing is going to be our location, right? If we've got momentum starting to move down, which I'm not even convinced we have a huge amount of momentum yet, higher time frame, all we're really doing is testing each side of this range like we talked about. We want to be a little bit careful, don't we? We want to be a little bit careful thinking about too much follow through to downside, because our location down here is not ideal. Now, if that starts to change, then we can really think about sizing in. But I want to be very, very careful about a look below and fail, all right, or even a hold of here or look below and fail and that trade back up to there, because that, while that might not seem like much, all right, that would basically be 150, 200 points. You will not be able to sit in that much drawdown. So let's just give it a chance this morning to settle, team. All right, let's give it a chance to settle. How long have I got here? Not enough time, again, to go through the good mornings. We need to start doing this stream earlier, I think. But good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Thank you for joining today. Let's close that poll. Most of you, I think it's going to be range rotation today. And welcome, everyone. Everyone new to the stream, welcome. Do me a favor, smash that like button nice and early. I want to do some giveaways today. So let's get it up to 150 likes, while more people will start to join probably in the next few minutes. And here is your open as we trade back down towards that level of demand and previous day low. Again, all of the mag other than Google and Apple are opening up in a gap down. Here's the drive into yesterday's lows. Okay, ES going for the same thing. So be careful here if you get a look below and fail, if they bid up off this level, because remember, this is where we found bids yesterday. We do have an old point of control a little bit further down into these levels here. Let me just double check that. Yes. And then value area low, 962. Okay. So here's the drift this morning. One thing I'm sure we will get today that we didn't have in New York session yesterday is range. I'm sure we're going to get range here. Imagine coming to your portfolio this morning. If you were long into Meta or Microsoft yesterday, you'd be waking up, you know, Meta, you're waking up almost 12% down. All right, so that's going to be SSR for tomorrow. Worth noting. So it probably finds a bid tomorrow, Meta, once it's SSR. If not today. All right, gap up here on the VIX as well, folks. Gap up on the VIX. I don't want to initiate anything down here right now. We are drifting into an area where they bid up yesterday, but we have no structure to play off right now. Nice and patient. ES coming for its previous day low as well here. Same as the spiders coming into their previous day low. So let's see if they do a liquidity grab down here at those levels, or if we're actually going to find follow through and weakness. VIX about to close its gap into PDC as well. Off Meta getting absolutely clobbered. Now 13% down. That thing's in big trouble. That thing is in big, big trouble. Did any of you trade FOMC or earnings? And how did you get on if you did? When we traded FOMC in the room, I think we traded it really well, but as well as we could have. Made some good money on that yesterday. It was good fun as well. It was good fun. And we were trading both sides of it, longs and shorts. But we left the earnings alone. Way too risky for me, the earnings, but FOMC was good. Once it settled down, it was good. All right, still not taking out previous day low yet across any index right now. We're still just hanging around near where we found bids yesterday. We can see there are buyers underneath here, which we could come and fill, which we still have not filled. So here's the drive back down to previous day low. So if you're in this short, you know what your target is. I'm not in anything here, but if you're in this short, you know what your target is, and how we react there is going to be absolutely key. There are buyers down into 26,000 flat, 26 even. So remember, we expect a reaction if we come down here. And if we don't get that reaction, if we get just strong selling, we can look to join once we form new structure. And there's your PDL. So if you're in this short, make sure you're paying yourself into this move. Looks good so far. Looks good so far. Make sure you're paying yourself into that move, please. It's already 75 points off the open. Lots of covering going on here. So you can see a buyer coming in, passive buyer at 50s, trying to absorb a little bit of it. It's very possible that we wick this and turn around if it wants to turn around and come back up and test some of this, because we've been adrift down the whole time. All right, just be aware of that. And the 5-day hanging out just underneath. I'd like to see PDL taken before we think about anything else. I really would like to see at least one of the indexes take out that low, so we know those stops are run from yesterday. Okay. Still heavy pressure here on the tape. They're trying to trade through these 50s. There's a guy at 50. They're trying to trade through him at the moment and take out that PDL. And what happens after we take the PDL is what's important. Here's your PDL. There you go. All right, so do we get follow through now? If we get follow through, you're looking for basically the 26,000. So if they really let go of this with follow through, you're looking for 26,000. If they reclaim PDL, then obviously we're thinking about that fail breakout. So just be aware of all these plays that we're talking about. Yes, still yet to take it, by the way, folks. Looks good for more downside here. Pressure coming in on the tape. All the time they're heavy at 50. There can be more pressure applied to this tape. I've got an old anchor down at 980 as well. So either we build structure out here, test this and test some of these levels, or we reclaim and it offers a squeeze back up. So most of you, anyone in short there, you should have been locking in. ES now hitting that target as well. You just have to see if there's follow through for downside or not. That New York Open will be your trigger point for a squeeze today, I would have said. So already 98 point range here in the first 5 minutes or 6 minutes. Is more than we had yesterday in the first hour. Why? We're just patient. We know which days we want to trade. We like days like these. All right, here's the next check. So into that 26,000. You look good to hold on here. It's still starting to bleed more. But this should be a cover point into this blue box. This is an old POC, old value. This is an area you want to be taking some profit. It's an old pivot. If we stay heavy under this, we keep washing and washing and washing. But you must be paying yourself into this. And straight down here since pre-market, straight down since the New York Open. The next level is all the way down here, so another 50-point drift if they're going to do it. It'd be nice if we build some structure out here. ES now into its new week opening gap, by the way, folks. So very, very different charts right now. We've got a long way to go to get into our gap. A long, long way. VIX through PDC. And it might want to go here. So it's at 17s. If we get through 17s, it's going to have a look for that shove to 1760. Let's get that new anchor you guys showed me. There we go. Can you remember to do it? Or do I need to put it in every day? It has remembered. It just looks awful. Still staying heavy here so far. No reclaim of any level. ES into its gap here, folks. QQQ into its 5-day moving average. VIX through that PDC. Oof, just no structure to play off. Straight sell. Straight sell so far this morning. Oh, nice, Peter. You got good entry then. I'm still waiting for a bit of structure to be built out, which I'm not really seeing. Just breakouts at the moment. Starting to damage all these bulls. We've definitely left bulls trapped in a 2-day range at highs, which is great. We're coming into an area of interest where they might start bidding up off it, which is sort of the Monday-Tuesday transition. Big seller just came in here, and if he doesn't get let out, we know what happens. All right, we just see him here on the tape. 200 lot. It's the biggest single lot this morning. There you go. We're moving away from him instantly. So he just tried to sell the lows there. Let's see if we react back into this sort of 26,000 or not. Man, I want to be in this. I want to be in this. Just no structure. Big order just coming here. You can see 1,000 lot underneath us. 950s. They're trying to sell into him. They are trying to sell into him. I need a bounce to sell into. And if we go and take out all the targets and offer a bounce, there's nothing for me to sell back down to downside. Is this Tuesday low here? Hang on, let me just check. Yes. All right, Tuesday's low, Monday high here, key level here, high time frame. Big level here, high time frame. All right, starting to see some bids come back in. They're trying to protect that 1,000 lot. I don't think it lasts very long. I'd love a shove up for me to sell into, but just no opportunity. Structure straight down so far. So as soon as we broke that low, we've just let everything go. So I want to be a seller in the market, but I don't want to be a seller down here. Nice, Tonio. Nice work. All those who got it, nice work. The nicest entry was actually pre-market or all the way up here. Very nice. All these like nice bear flags versus flow zones, walking down, walking down, walking down. You could have argued the open, but that was not a great location to be short, but it paid. It paid. So it's one of those. Sat on my hands waiting. We're starting to develop. Why does this look so god-awful? Does this normally look this bad? I don't remember it looking this bad yesterday. That 1,000 lot pulled and moved down. He's now a 1,500 lot. Market heavy, 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 heavy. I'll give you a readout. Tesla 2.5% down. Nvidia just under 2.5% down. Meta 2.11% down. Sorry, Microsoft 2.11% down, Meta just under 12% down, Amazon 2.29% down, Google 2.5% up, Apple 0.63% up. So Apple holding on for earnings right now by the looks of it, around those all-time highs. It lines up, it just looks terrible. All right, so some bids coming in here, protecting that 1,500 lot. We're back to value area low on the day around here. Into those sort of 80s. If they get acceptance through that, they're going to go back up for that 26,000. Tape's still heavy so far. The tape's still heavy so far. Got to offer me something more than that. We've got to trade upside way more than that for me to have any interest. What's the time here? Still got time, only 12 minutes into the day. So I want to see if we can trade upside here. I'm not looking to long. I just want to see if we can come upside and build out some form of level up here, some new range to risk against. No, I like my row size at 1,000, mate. That's how I have it. Row layout to numbers. Yeah, it's on numbers. Okay, here we go. Drift upside. So this is what we're looking for. A reaction off this blue box. Want to see how we react as we come into these key levels now. So sellers stuck at those lows. Didn't take out all the key levels below, but we did come into that transition of Monday, Tuesday. All right, Monday high, Tuesday open. We came right into that, haven't sold through it, starting to find a bid off there. Sellers stuck down there. We've built out a decent amount of volume under 80 now. So I want to see the shove up. I'm not in this long, and I just want to see if we get stuck and start reacting. ES into its gap, now coming to test New York VWAP and previous day low. And can we drift up here and then offer a sell into some key levels? So I'm looking at these two blue boxes to maybe turn into some form of resistance. This top of the edge here of volume. It looks very different on my two charts right now. That's spooking me out looking at TradingView looking like that. So just shy of that 26,000 so far. We offer like a two-leg back up, and then do they refresh sell it? Or are we just going to stay heavy straight away? Apparently we're just going to stay heavy straight away. Okay. And Ninja Trader now crashed. Maybe that's why it looked so bad. Okay, anyone else having this issue? Full crash here on Ninja. No data. This back up. This is fun. Fun start to the day, Ninja Trader. Okay, maybe just mine. Hopefully it is just mine. Just waiting for it to reboot up here. Can we get data, Ninja? Still just got a blank screen. Absolutely nothing. Here we go. There we go. It's back. Lovely. And it's back, but I've got no indicators. Everything's missing. Mate. Mate. Okay. There we go. It's waking up now. All right, here's the move into this first level. All right, New York, VWAP and 26,000. If we reclaim this, we go and check previous day low. This is going to be important, this previous day low. This is the level that I want to see. Do they sell against it, or have we just done it way too much of an over-exaggerated move? And now we're going to go right the way back to New York Open, which would not surprise me. It can still be a failed breakout underneath previous day low. It can absolutely be a failed breakout underneath previous day low. If that was an over-exaggeration. ES already reclaiming previous day low. Oh, it's a shame that I lost data there because we built out. Look at all this volume built out down there, and we're moving aggressively away from it now. It was probably a nice counter trend trade for this break above 80s here. I think I even said 80s, and then the data went. So into this level, I'd watch previous day low now, these 50s, and do they sell that? If they don't sort of sell 50s and we go all the way up to the New York Open, if we reclaim some of these levels up here, remember, if we look left, right, this is where we broke down from. If we reclaim those levels, it is squeeze time. All right, so I'd say previous day low, fairly key and just above it for what happens next. We haven't retested where we just broke out from yet. ES already almost at that New York Open. Already almost at that New York Open. So this is the kind of volatility that can be fun to play in. If you can stay online, Ninja Trader, we would have had some fun here. All right, so let's see if they set a lower high here or if they go for a full reclaim. So I'd be watching. If they bid now in front of 80s or at 80s, they're going to leave those sellers at the low stuck. The buyers underneath there have left. Right, they've left the building, so there's no real reason to trade back down there again. So currently, we're protecting Monday, Tuesday transition point at the moment. For now, we've reclaimed 26,000. I want to see if we drift back into around these sort of levels here and find a bid, or if we just squeeze straight over this, it's going to be much harder to join in. So here's previous day low. Reaction here will be important. Do they sell this, or are we just going to go on a screamer up towards that New York Open? Why we don't like getting short at the lows. We've gone straight down with no structure. We're going straight up with no structure. So it's a over-exaggerated market right now in this New York Open. Right, straight down bleed, straight up. Lack of structure. All we did was create some volume at these lows down here. Right, struggling to get a bid through previous day low right now. That's one thing I would say. ES reclaiming New York Open already. All right, folks, ES relative strength there through PDL, reclaiming New York Open already. We should have a VWAP up here somewhere. There it is, up above. All right, watching QQQ coming into that VWAP and transition. 631s on the QQQ going to be key. Here's POC on the session up here. If we go through this, we go right to that New York Open. Squeezes on here, folks. Those shorts try to get too heavy at the lows. You can see all the volume down here. Look at the delta. Heavy, heavy, heavy at the low of the day. And then the transition swings back to buyers in control. Buyers are in full control right now in this New York session. All right. Since this low, they've left the sellers stuck. If I'm going to be a buyer, all right, there's probably one of these moves coming. And then this is interesting. And if they don't hold this, then a new low. So I'm trying to be patient. It's a V shape. They're always hard, like straight down, straight up. There was a trigger long right here, but it's right when it crashed, unfortunately. So back to previous day low here. There's some sellers just above. I expect this market to rotate a little bit before it makes its decision of what next. Maybe we go New York Open straight away here because we did just hold PDL again. So up to top side of range. This is where we broke down from. It's looking very bullish here. ES coming into its VWAP and Globex already. So if you're long ES, you want to make sure you're paying yourself right now into these 900s. VWAP above into 905s. Oh, would love to be playing today. Come on, market. Don't be so mean. Don't be so mean. Give me something to play off. There's your reclaim. There's the New York Open. Through that, it can get very, very squeezy very, very quick. 185 points down, 185 points up already in the first 21 minutes of the day. Mental. All right, ES into its V up here. We're almost at that New York Open already. Oh my God. Can we have some action to play off, please? Can we have some structure, please, market? Wow. Wow, 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 wow. We need a higher low set. We need a pullback. Yeah, lots of you getting it. Good for you. If you took that break of where that delta was, this is the same thing we look for every day. There's your key level, right? Blue box. It was there the whole time. POC now shifted there. There's heavy delta. There they are. What happens with the heaviest delta afterwards? We move upside. That is sellers stuck at the low of day. That's where they're stuck. So we need something like this now if we're going to have continuation. Do you want to be slightly careful if we're going to do one of these today? But I would say anything like this for continuation would be nice if it will offer it. ES stuck at its VWAP. Okay, so ES did just trade all the way back up from its gap to its 24-hour VWAP. Just be aware of that. SPY coming, well, SPY's at the pivot where we broke down from. Be aware of that as well. I don't want to buy up here. I need a pullback if I'm going to participate. Delta's always the same thing. All right, it's aggressive action, i.e. market participants. It's market participants. As in market buyers, market sellers, not passive, not on the limit. Not adding liquidity, taking liquidity. Here's your New York Open. They're just going to go straight squeeze here by the looks of it. Yes, right at that VWAP. We are going straight squeeze. You can already see it starting to build. It's so annoying. I want to be participating in this. So V-shaped recovery into that New York Open. I need a pullback for me to be interested in playing this for any more upside. I need to see some structure. VIX getting absolutely slapped on that move into 17 like we talked about. So it got through PDC into 17, instantly met with sellers. And it's down to 1650s already. We should trade through this New York Open. If we do, we're going to go into Globex. If we go through Globex, we're going higher time frame algo. If we go through that, we go higher time frame, lower time frame, VWAP, previous day value, area low for a move up into these 200s. It's very, very possible. I want to see a higher low set first before. I want to see this set first before we take this move up here. I really don't want to trade up here, but if we have to, I'll think about joining here because it's not letting me in right now. All right, there's the New York Open. Globex coming up, like we talked about, big old squeeze. I said it's just going to squeeze. It's all it wants to do right now is squeeze. It's caught those shorts offside. Here we go. Here's Globex. It's forcing me to put a small position and take some off here into Globex. Lovely. All right, we're going to trade up towards the next level. We have got some supply here, folks. Just be aware of that. This is where we failed from. Look left. All right, this is where we failed from here. Understand that. These are pivots. So reclaim of this level 140 can allow the drift back up to sort of 150, 160, and through that we go 200. All right, acceptance back. This up here is going to be key. Do we reject previous day value? Remember, every buyer is stuck above this. If we reject this or in front of this, we can rotate again. That will be higher time frame saying, nope, well, you're not coming back into yesterday's value. This is a huge move. Trapped sellers at the low, V-shaped recovery. Maybe this, I'd be selling into that. I would not be long buying new money longs anywhere near that level. It's very, very dangerous. And that supply so far starting to hold up. So let me put that block in because it is important. This was the pivot that we broke down from. Right. We can actually do it right the way up to here, but let's do it to here for now. So you can see trap participants. It's what we love to trade in flow zones, and you got them down here. It's the If you're going to get a reversal, that's what you're looking for. ES reclaiming VWAPs. Everything very bullish here. Ugh. I want some more size. I want some more size, but I need a pullback for more size. Globex here, VWAP just above. There's some sellers here into 162s. And then through that, the 200s like we talked about. Please offer a pullback market, please. Nice, yeah, all of those who got it. I'm really sorry my Ninja Trader went down then. There's not a lot I can do when that happens, unfortunately. I can't trade blind. But we were talking about that 180 down here. I remember saying 180. You can see that drift, reaction higher low, and we go. Waiting for a pullback now. I need a pullback. I don't want to just see this keep ripping faces, which is what it clearly wants to do. I want to see bulls up here get trapped, liquidate them out a little bit, pull back and give me a nice bid to play off a bit lower here, please. What a move. Remember, we're bullish overall. The main sentiment in this market has been bullish overall, but it is important to note, we can set a lower high here on an hourly. It is important to understand that. If we look at this right here, all right, if we think about where participants are trapped right now, we have participants trapped in here. It's possible that the hourly sets a lower high here if we're going to start rolling. I'm not convinced of that, but the easier play was what? Was this breakdown to here? Was this breakdown to here? I don't want to be long up here. I do not want to be long into this because here is the move at the moment. We can do this and a retest of these lows and maybe even down here. So don't get too bullish too high up here. You're going to ask for it. If you're already in it long, you look good, but just be smart, all right? Understand where we are positioned in terms of the higher time frame. It really, really matters, that higher time frame. Oh, they can set a lower high around here if they want in front of previous day's value area low. Any acceptance through previous day's value area low, we're into that chop zone that I don't want to trade in. But it would be a look below and fail. Definitely would. I'll give you a readout on the market. Tesla 2.17% down, Nvidia 1.5% down, Microsoft 2.20% down, Meta finding a bit of a bid, just under 11% down though, and Amazon 1.43% down. Google flying 4.84% up, Apple 0.5% up. So relative strength in Apple ahead of earnings. PayPal I cut yesterday and it's up about just over 0.5%, but really not interested in that. AMD, I'm still holding some position in that, but I did sell a lot of it for about a 63% gain earlier in this week. And I'll wait for this market to offer hopefully a good pullback before we get going in the Santa Claus rally to re-add in. And then in January, I want to be taking profits into January. Okay. Please offer me a pullback market, please. That looks a bit better. So yes, on the VWAP, we're at Globex supply right above us right now. Here comes the squeeze. Is your next trigger. There's VWAP. Big buying into that. Whoa! All right, we're going to go all the way to previous day value area low here. I just lack any size on this. Fortunately, couldn't offer me a big pullback to size into. Do not be buying up here, please. All right, even I had to chase this a bit for that move, but up comfortably selling into this. Huge buy out there, you can see on the book. 74 lot, 220 lot, 370 lot, 80 lot, 23 lot. All right, that's probably just shorts getting absolutely blown out. So shorts getting blown out, becoming market buyer participants, which might start to signal some exhaustion. You can see big volume here, biggest volume of the day after the open, and huge buy side in there. Those are all stops getting blown. So you do not want to be a buyer out there if we see exhaustion now. This is the level they will need to defend. Previous day value, area low. If they cannot defend this, all right, we're going to get acceptance back into range. This will then be a look below and fail. So if we go back into value of yesterday, this will be a look below and fail. Shorts will need to defend this for this rotation. They will have to defend it if they're going to look for a lower low. Otherwise, we're going straight back into previous day's value, and it will be a look below and fail. All right, I'm going to get a refill on the coffee here. Be right back, folks. I should say, you should have all made a huge amount of money today. We just hit every target other than previous day value area low for that long upside. You only missed it by, 10, 15 ticks, right? Here's VWAP, Globex, high time frame algo, lower time frame algo, right? Any of those longs, hopefully some of you got it when my Ninja Trader crashed, but there you go. Reclaim here, even here. Do not be long up here now. All right, we expect a rotation down, and then we can think about bidding off that if we want. The battle now is going to be from here to here. All right, so we want to see a wash, and we want to see buyers step back in for this trade back upside. If we then create like liquidity up here, maybe we roll. But this is the battle we talked about. The H1 can set a lower high here. Remember, this is the lower low. This is the drive up. The H1 can set a lower high here for an attempt to move lower. We just went over that on the H1 chart. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. So while you do not want to be long into these positions, there's a reason I put a red box there. All right, there's a reason. There's a reason previous day's value area low is there. I will consider buying on a drift back if I can see some form of trap, right? If we either bid off this or we do something like this, I'll consider it. But the main area here where they got stuck is all the way down there. So momentum is definitely upside lower time frame. I'd say it's not necessarily upside higher time frame right now. It is not necessarily upside higher time frame. Big seller just came in here, folks. So let's see if they bid off him. You can see right here. 555 lot sell side just came flying in there. All right, so that might be a buyer getting stopped out who chased the highs. Very, very possible. You'd have to be a bit of a wally to do that, given that we've moved 240 points to the upside. So we've had over 500 points today. Troy made 1K off 3 micros. Didn't want to risk heavy with the volatility, but I'll take it. That's what I say all the time. When we've got volatility, you do not need size. When we have volatility, you don't need size. All right, so just let this settle down now, folks, because if they're going to set that lower high on the hourly, we will come deep on this. So give it a chance. This is a new H1 bar. Remember, we've just filled that H1 imbalance as well. Look at the H1 charts right now, folks. Think about this. Think about what we've done this morning. I'll get rid of this so we can see it a bit better. If it will let me, maybe it won't let me. Oh, it's not let me delete it, but right. Think about the structure. All right, we're into an imbalance. How they act here is key. Are they able to get a lower low? Is this a lower high, right? Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Or is this the end of a 2-leg pullback and we're going back to highs? This is why you don't want to be... Oh, I'm missing plays here. This is what happens when I educate and don't trade. This is why you want to be cautious. All right, so that seller down there just got himself caught. That 500 lot seller just got himself caught. He's sold into about 15s, 20s or so. So let's see. If they hold dips into 20s, he's going to remain stuck now. So huge seller, 555 lot. We're coming back to where he got in. I want to let this shake out for a minute before I think about doing anything else right now. Building some volume out up here as well, you can see. So we're thin in the middle, thick at the bottom, thick at the top. So selling at the top, buying at the bottom, or trap sellers at the top, trap buyers at the trap sellers at the bottom, trap buyers at the top. So far, thin in between. We're not particularly thick in these areas because we lack structure. We went straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. Peter, I'm 200 short of 5K for the day. I caught a good chunk of that in the pre-market sale. Nice, mate. Nice, nice, nice. You guys are doing very, very well. VIX failing its PDC there. This feels like it wants to squeeze. It's just the buying opportunity ideally is lower, but it does, I'm not going to lie, it feels like it absolutely wants to squeeze here. It's not a good location to be a buyer in, but we just set another higher low versus, remember I said 20s? That's where that seller is caught. You can see him on the book map. This guy right here, 556 lot. He got himself caught there. You can see the delta offside here. Right, big seller. We went under and instantly reclaimed. So all the time we're above him. It's probably a buyer. It's probably this buyer getting stopped out, and now we're going to trade in between here and create some range. So I'm trying to be patient. Trying to be patient. Google's still going. Apple pulling back in a little bit. Google's still going. 5.4% up now on Goog. It probably wants those 300s by the looks of it. Not necessarily today, but that clearly is a target. And I'd say 7K is the target on ES for the end of year. At the moment, probably a huge call wall up there, I would imagine. Probably pin it. Again, I'm just waiting now. I don't want to buy high in this session. The buy was 200 points lower. See how we act into these 26,050s. Remember, like I talked about, higher time frame can try and make a lower high here. You cannot ignore that on the higher time frame. If they take control, they will attempt to make a lower low on the day. You might be like, wow, that seems ridiculous. It's very, very possible. Look at the H1. Make sure you are zoomed out. All right. All we've done is go from Monday, Tuesday pivot all the way up into supply. We're failing supply right now. They're trying to make a lower high on a higher time frame up here. Now it's a question of, do bulls come back in and defend and say, no way, mate, we're going back into range. Big, big lot down here at the 50s. I mean, but previous day low. So all the time we bid in front of previous day low, they've got a shot of holding. Watching that New York open on ES as well. When you've got New York VWAP just underneath it. So battle of the time frames here, folks. Battle of the time frames here. Exactly, Raf. Yeah, exactly. I see him down there. I mean, they can still sell, like, they are allowed to sell this and make a lower low and attempt to go lower low. They can absolutely do it. Remember, we're only, it might seem like a lot, we're only 40 minutes into the day. That's all we are. If this is to set a lower high and they come and break this, we go lower low, you know, we're in trend down on the H1 then. That's confirming trend down. That's a new leg lower if we start breaking. So I would imagine buyers will want to step in either here or protect this low. They've got only those two places. We lack structure other than that. And even if we're going to think about a fib, we go from lower day. You're going to let me do it? You are. Good. We go from lower day. All right, 50% right here into 61. So 50s, 60s, if they defend that or not. Little reaction there, not a lot. There is a sort of volume shelf here at 70s at the moment. This could be a two-leg if they can get acceptance back upside. Remember, value area high on the day right here at 10s. It's moving pretty quick today. I know I'm having to talk a lot, but that's how it's moving. It is moving pretty quickly today. Even these value areas are not matching up with NinjaTrader either. Don't like. Lots of discrepancies at the moment. That bid moving up to 60s now. He wants to bid at 60s at the moment. He was at 50s, moved up to 60s. Big levels is sort of like 50% level. Under that, we've got the 61 fib and the yeah, I don't think we should want to visit here unless these high time frame sellers take over. The buyers should come in soon if they're going to attempt to hold this up. Probably ES New York Open, New York VWAP, somewhere around there. Which is kind of where we're at right now. We're not far away. So let's see. If there's no buyers that set up, then higher time frame sellers are going to start taking over this market. Remember, most of the market is bleeding today, other than Goog. It's worth noting. We're gapping down, most of the market's bleeding, so don't get overly bullish. Had a good squeeze out here. This buyer's starting to play games. This feels like the same guy as the last few days. Moved up, moved down. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls his order altogether in a minute. VIX back through PDC. All right, VIX starting to build an inverted head and shoulder. You want to be a bit careful here if that starts to break through these 17s. We might get a flush moment if it does. Nice reaction off that 50 fib so far. This blue box, this VWAP, somewhere around here. It's trying to hold on. It is definitely trying to hold on. Do they attempt to go back to that New York Open? So ES holding that New York Open, New York VWAP like we just talked about. That's where it's found a bid so far. We're holding sort of the 50%-ish so far in a little volume shelf, protecting previous day low. So the rotation can take place between previous day low, this sort of blue box, and that supply up above. We're getting no push through current value on the day yet. But this is the area where lower time frame buyers will want to take over, all right? They will want to take over of this area. Here we go. Here's the reaction. So small long in this for this move up. Covering some in this imbalance in front of this New York Open, right? So if this is the two leg, so I'm long in here on this break, taking some off into this imbalance. If we can get over this, then a squeeze potential is there. If they fail back up here, then it will rotate back down and keep reattempting this. And this is the rotation right now in this market. This is higher time frame sellers. You can see the 50 held perfectly, literally spot on the 50. All right, so higher time frame sellers, lower time frame buyers. This is the battle between time frames in here now. Does that make sense to everyone? When I have a chance, can you clarify what the anchored VWAP is anchored to? Which anchored VWAP, mate? There's nothing on here other than the New York one. So you just, If you're going to do, if you don't have this indicator, just get an anchor VWAP, the 9:30 candle, just anchor it to the 9:30 candle on a 1 minute. The first candle in a 1 minute, just anchor it there. That gives you a VWAP of participants playing since 9:30, i.e. cash, all right? Cash participants. So it should match QQQ. You need volume profile for top now. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what top now is. No worries, capped. But yeah, in the room, because I know you're in the room with us, buddy. In Discord, there is this indicator. All right, one of the kind folks in our community developed this indicator. All right, it's called VWAP Sessions in New York. All right, so check in the Trading View tab in Discord, and it's there. It's free for everyone in the community. He very kindly built it. So it'll save you anchoring it every day. There is also one for Ninja Trader, which I keep forgetting to put on. If someone can remind me, Coops created it again for the community, free for the community. All right, previous day low here, New York Open here on ES. These are the levels. These are the levels, folks. If they don't hold this, there's a deeper rotation. We lack liquidity. We lack structure in here. We get very, very thin all the way down to this box down here. All right, so what I might do is just increase this out. This is kind of where bulls took control and those sellers got stuck. So we do it as light green. And this is previous day low. That mark that you're looking at right now is previous day low. Higher time frame sellers trying to attempt to take over here, folks. Remember, overall, the market is bleeding today. It's worth noting. Overall, the market is bleeding. Well, we're at previous day low. We've already taken it. We're at it. The green line. Do they bid up off this? Do the lower time frame players try and take control, or just higher time frame just say nope? This is your lower high. We want to take this out. We want to start rotating this market down. I don't know what they want to do, but I know this is the battleground. This blue box that we've got in, blue to red, this is the rotational battleground box. Protecting PDL. ES protecting New York Open and New York VWAP. All right, ES protecting both. Nice shove off this. Okay, beautiful. Got a little piece on this. Let's see. Still making lower highs and lower lows, so just tiny, tiny, tiny size, just in case we get a big, big reaction here on that fib and PDL. Stop already in the money. Very high risk play this because we're battling time frames. If we let go, I will consider rotation the other way. Don't like that this bidder is playing games on here on the book map. So he was up at 6,100, then he moved to 650, then he moved to 650, 660, then back to 650, then 640, and now 26,000. So just games being played on the book. Want to be careful. And the higher time frame. Want to be careful this higher time frame if it takes over. VIX starting to break. I'd be very careful here. VIX at PDC is starting to break here for an upside move. This could get real nasty if higher time frame takes over here, folks. Could get real nasty. We're very, very thin all the way down to this now. So if they don't hold this up, I expect them just to flush straight down into here if they can't find a bid in this area. Buyers should protect green zone so we don't touch it. Or is it okay to then go to it? If lower time frame buyers want to protect, they should protect here. If they fail, they'll get stopped out and we'll retest this. And then if they want to have an attempt here, their rotation zone will go from here. So it'll move from this to this, all right? And if buyers then fail to protect that, we will then create a lower low on a higher time frame. I would not want to be a seller down there, put it that way. But what I would sell is that. Buyers should try and step in here in this blue box if they're really going to have, a go at protecting. The lower we go, the weaker they get, right? The lower we go, the weaker those buyers get, the more the higher time frame starts taking over if we get down into this. So think about what's happened today. See, this is worrying me how these are moving. And anyway, here's what happened today. Right, we're here. Decision point. Back here, or back here, or back here. But this is decision point. Why? Because this is 50% or maybe even 61 now. Pull back off that high. We tested, think about this, state of origin, lower low, lower high. In here, we have to decide, is it a higher low, or do we just sell right back down and create a new lower low? So it's battle of the time frames. Remember, I'm going to keep reminding you, look at the mag. It doesn't look pretty out there, folks. Right, it doesn't look pretty. It's just whether any of these find a bid. All right, remember, we've moved up this year off the mag. If you look at the breadth in the market, it's been non-existent. So we're having a day where the mag's pulling back. Tesla, 3.31% down. Nvidia, 2.5% down. Microsoft, 2.40% down. Meta, 11.42% down. Amazon, 1.35% down. Google, 5% up. Apple, pretty much flat now. So it is a day where the mag are in a sell. If they don't want to bid it back up and hold it for earnings, then what's going to happen? If we've got no breadth and the rest of the market is selling, which I assume is happening, we can have a quick look, then we move lower. The rest of the market doesn't actually look too bad. Actually looks pretty good. Financials are up. Healthcare's up. Electronics are up. Farms are up. Consumer defense is up. Real estate's up. Utilities are up. So it's energy's kind of flat to down. It's just the mag selling. It's actually just the mag selling, really, and CBS and HON and what are the other heavy ones? CM, CSA. But yeah, maybe mainly the mag. Oh, look at this. Okay, back down into this zone. All right, so this is like last chance saloon for buyers to step in. This is kind of last chance saloon now. Failing to do it will mean lower low, high time frame, and will show big weakness in the market. And guess what? This guy's left the tape again. Yet again, he's left. VIX starting to break out here, folks, like we talked about. Be careful. That inverse head and shoulder on the VIX, it's starting to break out here. It's already through 17s. If it runs high of day, 1712, we can expect previous day high. Market will get very weak if we start breaking through previous day high. Be very careful here, folks. Be very careful. Dangerous market with the volatility and the ATR right now. ATR currently 31 points per 1 minute candle. Let that sink in. 31 points per 1 minute candle. Trying to find a bid of current value area low on the session, but I don't really trust this thing. Down here is the next level to check, basically 26,000. Here we go. So probably going to check that 26k now. And it looks more and more like higher time frame sellers have just completely taken over this session at the moment. A lower time frame buyers stopping, failing to do much. Higher time frame sellers from up here stepping in, saying, "Hey, no, you're not coming back upside into range. We are protecting previous day value area low. We're outside of range. Sellers have taken control up here. So drift up. Sellers said, nope, you're not coming back up. And we're just going to have to wait to see if we create a new range rotation now or not, or if we're going to get acceptance of new prices. If they just go, okay, we can't keep bidding this up. Let go of the market, and some fear steps in. We won't see that until we break lows, all right? And we won't see that until we break lows. There's ES. ES back testing New York view up underneath New York Open. If it reclaims it, might get a little squeeze out on ES, but also not looking too good. But the market for ES looks a bit better. The financial sectors and stuff look okay. Be watching previous day low here if they reclaim that and the same level above and start screaming upside here or not. So what do we know so far today? We know that buyers got trapped up here, sellers got trapped up down here, and we had no structure in here. We're starting to build out some structure, which is a good thing. A positive sign. We can remove this because we traded under and over it too much. All right, so do we defend this, or do they complete something like this? VIX higher day here, testing higher day here. VIX starting to break out here. I'd be very careful if VIX gets follow through here upside. I think the market will flush very hard if it does. Very, very hard if it does. ES rejecting New York Open. Man, these are sensitive areas. You can see quite a clear channel here as well, by the way, folks. There's your channel at the moment, lower time frame. Just going to give this a chance to get some form of trend alignment. Maybe that was a better sell up there than I thought. Yeah, we will see. I don't think this looks like a bull flag at all. I don't know what you're looking at. But there's nothing bull flaggish about this, I'm afraid. Don't know where you've got that information from, but this, to me, very simply, does not look like a bull flag. And in here is being walked down. It's not a bull flag. Absolutely not a bull flag. A bull flag would have been that, right? This is not a bull flag. I don't know who's taught you, but that's not a bull flag. This is a range. We're rotating inside of current range. All right, initial balance now set. So we're inside an IB day. We're outside of value. We're inside initial balance. We're outside of value, previous day value. We're inside initial balance. Previous day low here. Very, very key over under, I would say. Back to these flow zones. Back to this blue box. Remember, this has been here the whole day. This is the old level. So we extended through it on NQ, trapped sellers under it, went back over it, have traded back down to it. Like, I would not want to be short down here, and I'm not convinced about a bullish move yet. We're into sort of golden pocket, but it's getting a little bit too deep. Let's see. We're just in range rotation. We're right at the VWAP, folks. Like, I've got cold coming. I've been saying it for weeks. I keep thinking I'm putting it off, but I don't think I'm winning the battle. Where's my 9:30 open? Just trading in between these two little zones here. All right, point of control on the day and this pivot. This is a higher time frame pivot, right? We shouldn't have blown through that, but we did. And that's where we trapped under. So they can hold this and rotate back up. And I'd say the way we built out distribution here is not very nice. It just looks like straight one of these, but maybe we drift up into this. POC will be key. Over POC can offer a little bit more. Back into VWAP here. ES looks better than NQ. So acceptance through the 50s now. Failing that POC in front of it so far. If we reclaim POC, we probably come and test back up to these levels. Remember, this is what we're waiting for. We're waiting to see if we can get alignment. Maybe I can delete that now. That is looking a little bit better. This is about as typical rotation as you'll get. Right? How we act at the extremes is what's important. It is golden zone, yeah. It is golden zone. But we're not seeing too much. You're starting to see a little bit of buyers try and participate here. Like in that last move up, you can see we had some decent buying coming in from sort of the 25s. But yeah, if we can create high lows here and start to hold, then we can have that look above. But you know, this is the most transacted area of the day right here, and we're still under it. So this is fair value. So we can just keep doing this dance. They might just chop in here a while, but buyers did step in here. Here's your first high low, lower time frame, lower time frame. Can we reclaim this? Do we come and test this area sort of here? It would be nicer if these were like spikes out, you know, rather than just this. It makes it hard to play off levels because we don't have, you know, too many big levels. I mean, we're a little bit thin in here, a little bit here, a little bit here, but not really a whole lot. So maybe if we get through here, we test 99, maybe there's a 20-point trade there and another 20-point trade above if we reclaim. But it's in terms of distribution, it's not ideal, and it's because we went straight down, straight up, and then have built out. POC showing yours at 69. I mean, that's the same thing. It's there or thereabouts, mate. I wouldn't worry about 4 points. It's an area, right? 4 points when we move as your spread. Don't worry about 4 points, Noah. Don't worry about 4 points. You know, if your POC was 30, 40, 50 points away, I'd be worried, but don't worry about 4 points. I'm assuming you've mistyped that and you do mean 26, not 25. Oh, hang on a minute. 25,969. I mean, how? I see what you're saying now. Oh, that's way off. I don't know what to say, mate. What are you running? What program is that on? Is that on Quant Tower? So squeeze up here. Here's point of control. If we reclaim this, then we can go right the way back up to here. This is the battle like we talked about. We expect buyers to step in and around here if they want to take control. If they fail to take control, there is a rotation here. We're just midpoint of the range, folks. right? Think about your initial balance. Think about where everything is. Unfortunately, location's just not been ideal today, the way we operated. We're right at 50%. We're midpoint of the range. Did it bounce at the low volume node on your chart? Yes, it did. It protected, well, the edge, not right in the middle of it, but basically 26,000 low volume node. This is where last chance, because this is where we broke out from, right? This is where sellers are trapped. It needs to protect this. Failing to do that, if we get back into here, I think we'll see weakness. If we get back into there, I think we'll see weakness. TradingView, I don't understand, Noah, why it's doing that for you on TradingView. Do you, and your data's all up to date and everything like that? I mean, I pay on TradingView for their data direct. I don't know if that makes a difference. That's really frustrating. I'm really sorry, buddy. Really sorry, dude. Very frustrating. Maybe they resell this. I'm not really interested in this at the moment. Very possible they resell this down. Market is bleeding. Apple now gone red. So the only one green on the day is Goog. Rest of the market is in a bleed. Here's back down to that low volume again. So if the buyers hold this and shorts come flying in here and we get delta offside, which you're starting to see, and we turn around, maybe there's a bigger squeeze. But again, we're trading in range. It's gonna be hard to action anything with conviction. The best trades today were probably the long from the 80s here that we talked about for that squeeze back up. And once we got up there, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But this here should have been a sell. Where I went long from that, I should have flipped short for this move back down to here. But, you know, I wouldn't say it's the cleanest of structures today. And this is not ideal. This just tells you rotation. ES back to view up. So ES now stuck between its 24-hour view up and view up. So just, again, just another sign of more rotation. Guys, we're really low on the likes today. This is twice in a row. We're not going to do giveaways unless we start getting in the habits of hitting that like button nice and early, folks. If you want a free Apex account and a free course, we've got to do the basics. We've got to do the basics. Smash that like button for me. Oh, I'd like one decent trade here. One good trade would be nice. Yes, Funded Ticks does. You're right. Funded Ticks has 50% off. Code FCT would do that for you. Should have said that at the beginning. Apex sale is finished. So 40% off Take Profit Trader. I took another $1,000 out of that yesterday. I'm absolutely loving trading with TPT at the moment. Just paying myself every single day. It is good fun. Feels good to just keep pulling money out the market and paying yourself at the end of the day. Here we go. View up to view up. ES. Come on, NQ. Just make your mind up. The battle is real down here. The battle is absolutely real down here. Momentum, lower time frame downside. Location, 50%, not ideal. It's going to range till lunch. Yeah, if possibly. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, and neither do you. So, you know, it's quite a strong opinion that based on no data. ES is breaking out through VWAP. We might get a news piece randomly that completely changes it. You know, we might get fear in the market. We don't know what we're going to get. We don't know. Ah, there we go, Noah. Nice. They're retesting this level again. They're trying to force a squeeze here. They are trying to force a squeeze out here back into this, but they can easily trap bulls on a breakout over 75. But if they hold this and they get complete a rotation, they're going to come back up towards this New York Open. But it's a big if. It's a big old if right now. VIX did just fail that supply above, back under PDC again here. It's enough to go to sleep. There is, you know, there is ATR here. There is rotation, but there's not much follow through yet. I would say this was a failed breakdown here from shorts. So there's a potential squeeze back up to that New York Open at the moment setting up. Just be nice if we built out a little more structure than these like whippy. How big are these candles? 47s. Whew. These whippy candles. VIX is nowhere near previous day high, mate. I don't know what you're talking about, Peter. Previous day high on the VIX is 1758. We're trading at 1678. It's nowhere near it. It's at PDC. It's not near previous day high. ES starting to go then. ES looking strong here. So ES, the stronger asset today. Obviously, tech's been very, very heavy overnight and this morning. Financials being strong for ES and the other sectors, health sectors, etc., etc. So giving a bump up on ES. Here goes the squeeze on NQ. It's trying to join in with the ES. Maybe, like I said, possible up to this New York Open again and retest that supply up above. It's very, very possible it wants to do those moves. Good trading with you always. Great insight as usual. Thanks for teaching. You're welcome, bud. You're welcome. All right, here's the 100 test. So we just talked about this squeeze. It's happening. I'm not in it. It's one of those days. I'm actually not having a bad day at all. It feels like I am, but I'm not, man. Pretty good day. All right, pretty good day. So, but we'll just see. There's the 100. So next pullback, you'd want it to hold above sort of anywhere from 77 to 57. Bids on that. Again, we're going in range rotation. So we talked about this earlier. This was the range. Your main range is from your initial balance, low. Right? This was your first range. Then they ranged between these. Then they failed this and they came back down between these. Now the question is, do they go between this? And if they get acceptance above this here, and then do they offer a squeeze out, or is that a resell down to here? Because this now can just be a pullback, all right, for them to sell back into down to here. This is the problem at the moment. If you're thinking, oh, he's got no conviction, it's like a lot of ifs and buts. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. And the reason for that is the time frames are not in alignment. Here's a really easy way to see it. Higher time frame, sell. Lower time frame, buy. They're not in alignment, folks. We do not have alignment. Right? Even if we take this off, clean it up. Right, we go to a daily. Really important you get in this habit. Daily has a failed breakout of the high, but technically is bullish all the way down to here. Actually, even below this, all the way down to here, but breakout point. Technically, daily's bullish all the way down to here. We go to a 4 hour. All right, I would argue that we're in potential bearish territory underneath this pivot here. This low created this high, but we're not seeing follow through underneath this block here and this old value area. So range rotation, we go to an hourly. Hourly has the opportunity, like we talked about, to pivot lower, because this low, like the H1, created this high. This could be a lower high. This is your breakdown. This could be a lower high for that wash, but we are unfortunately in not a very good location to look for it, and more weakness comes here. We go to a 30-minute, you're going to see something fairly similar. Again, into these blocks. All right, so does it reject this for a lower move? We go to a 15-minute. You'll see failure to make a new low, and you will see this starting to get wedged in, building liquidity. We go to a 5-minute, and you would argue that this is a higher high, and this is a higher low. So no alignment in the charts, and this is when it becomes tricky, when we get no alignment in the charts, because they will battle over the key areas. So you need to wait for alignment for a really good trend. Oh, it's the same guy, Charles. Charles, try not to cry, Charles. Try not to cry again, buddy. All right? Why do you sit here and come here every day and watch me and then say stupid shit like that? But absolutely nailed it every day that you've been here. You're such a cretin. It's unbelievable. Absolute buffoon. Yeah, winging it. Absolutely winging it, mate. It's clear I have no ideas about what the levels are. You're worried about me. Don't you worry about me, buddy. Do you know what? It's actually really poor that you say things like that, because mental health is not something to be joking about. And do you know what? You're a fucking moron for saying that. And you are gone, my friend. See you later. Bye. There we go. Never again. We don't joke about mental health on this channel, you fucking twat. Sorry, guys, but that's the one thing I won't tolerate. I've lost people to mental health in my life. I will not tolerate people saying stuff like that. You can say I'm a shit trader all you want. I don't care, but we don't joke about mental health. Goodbye, you absolute buffoon. See ya. Go and trade with someone who gets you stuck in a chart. Enjoy. Fucking idiot. That really annoys me. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the swearing, but I don't joke about mental health. I've lost too many people to it. I'm 40 years old. We don't joke about that. Not funny. Absolutely not funny. Don't wish bad upon anyone, but you don't joke about things like that. Man, that annoys me. In this day and age, to be saying stuff like that annoys me. Really, really annoys me. Is twat a swear word? Yeah, well, I think I said twat and the F word probably. Money in the jar. Money will have to go in the jar, but that is unacceptable to say stuff like that. He did it before, which made me lose it on Discord at the time. Yeah, I remember, dude. Yeah, he's a goner. He's a goner. The thing is, even by the way he's talking, you can tell he's a child that lives at home with his mum, sat there, no job, unemployed, and hating everything in life. And what he really hates is himself. Right? It's just the way it comes out. It's the way you get when you blame everyone else and you look to try and make other people feel small. It is normally your internals looking for an outlet. So that's all it is. That's not me even judging him. That's normally what it is. When you find a hateful character like that, it's normally because they hate themselves within. So Charles, I hope you find a way to love yourself and you find a way out of your situation, buddy. Green Otter. I don't. I do have that on a tick chart, but I don't really love them. But I appreciate what you're saying, as in the 2 and 3 standard deviations. But it's. I know that low of day came into it, but for me, there's no real edge in those. I'd rather play play my levels. I have played with them before, but it's not for me. They're not for me, my friend. But each to their own. That if they work for you, that's fantastic. That's all that really matters. Yeah, if they work for you, that's all that matters. Sorry, Aaron. Sorry, everyone. I'm seeing seeing what you're saying now. Contorted, what did you miss? Well, V-shaped recovery. Right, higher time frame level, this blue box down here. So sell into that. I didn't get any of this because we went straight down. Lots of the chat got this. All right, V-shaped recovery. At this point, my Ninja Trader went offline, which is annoying. So I missed this, had to join some of this up here. Into that supply level where higher time frame sellers have come back in trying to set a lower high. We're drifting back down into this key level here. And this is now the battleground. And we're in distribution here. And really, the question is here, is once we get here, do they rebid off or do we create liquidity to go lower? At the moment, I'm just flat on everything. And especially after that, it's a kind of stuff like that just annoys me. So it gets in the way of my day. Stops me being able to focus properly. His basement buying altcoins, yeah, probably. Yeah, exactly. Big John Viking. I won't go into detail, but a friend of mine is probably watching now. We've been dealing with some, what should we call it? PTSD and physical side effects of brain injury trauma. And some of the vets have been absolutely amazing. Any of you folks follow me on socials would have seen it. Have been really, really supportive in a friend of mine going through recovery. And they actually have a film coming out, which, let me see if I can find it. It won a lot of awards. Hang on. So, yeah, thank you for your service, buddy. And I totally appreciate what you're saying. That's why I don't joke around with that stuff. I don't joke around with that stuff. And it's just not okay. It is just not okay. Hey man, on a lighter note, that guy debating purchasing your course. I love the vibe you're creating here. Could you let me know how you develop your trading skills? Did you work somewhere before? I didn't. I almost took a job before. Do you know what? The best thing to do is go to my YouTube page and go through the podcast because I talk about most of it there. But yes, I went to take a job post-university, which is 20 years ago now. So I interviewed at Morgan Stanley and CIBC and went and sat in at Merrill for a day, and then I got very lucky, buddy, and took a complete deviation on my career and became a touring music artist and DJ for like 10, 15 years around the world. So everything got put on hold. Didn't use any of my skills, and then had a decent amount of cash, had some decent success. So started investing and trading then. Learned the hard way. Had some terrible mentors and some half decent mentors over time, and then just developed my system over a long period of time doing that. But I talk about it in way more detail in some of those interviews, which you can listen to if you're interested. How does Ninja Trader go down? I don't know. Just I have it sometimes where the data just stops. I showed it on screen. It just goes blank. The data just stopped. So I don't know if it's struggling to get data from the CME or what it is. I have no idea, but it happens from time to time. It normally happens when price moves quickly for me anyway, and it just goes black. Normally you get an error message, but actually today I got no error message. So it just went black. I rebooted it and it still couldn't get data. It happens from time to time. You're a great teacher, Alex. Thanks so much for your stream and guidance. Still don't know what I'm doing, but at least I'm not stressed about it. You do know it's coming together for you. All right, back down into an old anchor VWAP here from the last few days into 985. This is the area where the sellers got stuck this morning. This is where we had delta, all right, sell side delta here. This is positively now a lower high on an H1. All right, and we're drifting into it. This is not an area that I'd like to short at down here. And like we talked about, maybe they fail this for this move. If we build out liquidity under here, if we're going to get acceptance under here, we can see where the volume gets big here. So I'd be looking for either this trade, or if we build enough liquidity, all right, a run on all of this. Because on a daily, understand where we're coming into on a daily. All right, here's the old gap, and this is the level. All right, so Tuesday low and Monday high. All right, this is where we're trading into. If we let go of Tuesday low, we can start trading into Monday's price action, which was pretty much straight up. Remember, it was a gap up as well. So interesting how we operate at these levels. Yeah, quite right, Owen. But oh, I've just got to like be chill. That's stupid when chat gets under your skin. But you give away stuff for free. You help people make money. You call the chart right all the time, and still you're gonna get some unappreciative people. I don't think there's another streamer that actually teaches while they stream, but there we go. Do I have any other jobs? No. I mean, I still produce music on the side, but I wouldn't call it a job. It's for fun now. Scott says, Dex, I traded with the best software in the world. Ask Coop. He'll confirm he did too, and we're here. Yeah, Coop's away on vacation at the moment. My right-hand man was Scott. Looking forward to having him back next week. Oh, nice, Tyson. Yeah, nice. I want to find this film. I'll find it again in a minute. You do know you are here making comments, right? Oh, that's BU to Batman. Okay. Yeah, check out the channel, but like no pressure to do anything. There's loads of free content on my channel as well. Which prop firms would you recommend for not so many consistent days? Like one day catching only basics, other days having more runners. I know that might be a consistency problem. Yeah, then anyone that doesn't have the consistency rules. So probably at the moment, TPT, once you get past the buffer, then you can just let your trades work for you. Growth accounts on Tradeify, even funding next now. I think they've got rid of consistency rules on the PAs. You can play music in the background. We've talked about that before. I don't think people would enjoy it. Gets in the way. When I'm not trading with you guys, I have music playing. Totally, Noah. Totally. Funding Ticks has the best deal right now, and only 2,500 to pass. Yeah. I'm following your channel for a couple of weeks. You're a decent guy. We'll take up your course. Oh, nice, man. Well, welcome. Welcome to the team. Yeah, no pressure for anyone to do the course. I'm not here hard selling. All right, reaction off where we found bids this morning. All right, so you can see the volume down here. Here's the shelf. All right, these are trapped sellers this side and buyers. We got exuberant buying, came straight back in the other way. So we've drifted all the way down into it. Are they going to protect this? Remember, here's your IB, IB. All right, we're in nothing more than rotation right now. We are weak versus previous day's value. Remember, previous day's value up here. So any buyer from yesterday is trapped up here right now, and we've not let them out. All right, we've not let them out. We've created a lower high, but in this New York session, we're inside value. We're not in a trend day, and it's decent range, right? You got 240 points range of that initial balance. Decent range. My produced music way too busy to hear on stream, although I do have lots of stuff. But yeah, you don't want to listen to that on stream. You don't want to listen to that on stream. Trust me. All right, I'm gonna go and have a break and use the bathroom and clear my head and come back before I think about taking a trade. All right. Big breath. Big breath. It's really got under my skin. Can't let it go, folks. I'm trying to let it go. So I can't trade until this feeling inside me is dissipated. Structure still here, still internal. Fail breakout. Internal range. Start reclaiming this. This is possible, but here is your high. It created this low. So internal range here. It's probably scalps to play. If you like trading range, there's probably, trades to play both sides of this right now. Both sides of this. Let's have a look at the mag. Yeah, Apple flat. Google still up just under 5%. Rest of the market in a sell still. Meta found a bid. Yeah, let me have a little look. Meta trying to find its bid at IB low. Under its 200-day now, is it? Yes. I wonder if we can get Meta much more weaker. That gap down's huge. I might think about a trade on Meta coming up. Not today. Probably if we're SSR, which we are, maybe tomorrow or Monday for just a bit of a mean reversion. Not a long-term hold. If we drift much further down, there is an old gap to fill into 605. So if we get into there, I will pick up Meta long-term without doubt. It's going to get too cheap. Yeah, Luna. The good news about Luna is she is too tired this time of day. So we get up at 5:30. She eats. She has a pee break, and then she just sleeps. She'll be asleep in my bed now. She knows the moment I get off here, we go for a nice long walk up on the bluffs together. Green Otter. I find it lonely to trade. I've been looking for a similar style. This is the closest. Oh, nice, Green Otter. We're a friendly bunch, even in the Discord. Like most of the guys talking right now, you'll see above you, they're all a friendly bunch. We're good people. Good people with good intentions, just looking to get 1% better together each day. That's all it is. Right, I'd say these sort of 15s and 600s become key now. Just because of the tape down here, what we had down here. Right, you can see the strong buying came back in off these lows. This blue box, basically, if they defend this, they will yet again attempt to do this kind of move here. If they fail this, all right, and build more liquidity out, we're looking more and more dangerous towards the low. We are just literally trading POC to test edge of range. You can see right here, all right? So each level is just rotating. So after the V shape, here was the rotation, we let go. Here is the rotation, we let go. Here is the rotation, we let go. Here is the rotation, we bid. Here is the rotation, we bid. Here is the rotation, we let go. Here is the rotation, here is the rotation. All right, this is what it's doing. It will then need to make decisions on what happens next. We're waiting for alignment to come between. I would not be surprised, all right, to see one more shove up into these. Sellers will want, higher time frame sellers will want a break below this structure here. That's what they want, the higher time frame sellers from up here. They're looking for a continuation trade under this, right? That's what the H1's looking for. If they don't let them do it, remember, we've got earnings tonight. They might just say, hey, we're not going down there right now. We're not going to cause panic right now. My sponsor always tells me, if you can't let it go, just put it down for a bit. That's it. Like, I haven't traded since. There's no execution since. Just sit still. I'm happy to teach you guys. I can teach you guys. But I can tell you, I'm very, very aware of how I feel inside. I am absolutely raging right now. For those of you that don't know, some of you will know, it was only 2 and a bit months ago I had to get off stream early because I found out a friend of mine had taken his life. So I don't joke about stuff like that, and it pissed me off. It has pissed me off. Some of you already know, you would have been members in the stream when that happened. So I just don't take it lightly. It's just not funny. It is not funny, and it has rage baited me, or whatever you want to call, but it has. But I'm not going to play into it until that feeling in here dissipates. I can't action something. Okay, so it's starting to see, like we just talked about, if they protect this level here, they will attempt to do this move back to the highs, right? If they protect this level here, right, they will attempt to come and test this. If they take this, we go back to New York Open. And the rotation, it's very clear, isn't it? There's value on the day. It's pretty, I mean, we're a bit thicker here, but that's pretty standard bell-shaped distribution, all right? I'd say there's lack of excess down here, really. We could have done with a bit of a more of a single print down there, but we've got some good single print up here, and it very well possible we just stay in this all day and we wait for earnings. It's very, very possible. Remember, it's not a small move. Like, this is 240 points, so this is what, 130s, 120 point rotation. There's money to be made there if you like playing the rotations. There is money to be made. To get up at 5:30, Alex, what time do you turn in? I normally try and get into bed for 8:30, 9 o'clock, but I end up watching some TV in bed and then falling asleep. Yeah, Aaron, we can make you one of those if you want to help. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, Clint as well. Any of the regulars. Yeah, it's all right. Cheers, guys. It's all right. Some of you would have been here for when the day that happened. It was very sad. I had to get off stream. Caught me by complete surprise. But, yeah. It's a while ago now. It's a couple months, but yeah, it's probably still raw, as you can see. This is what I love about TPT. Another payout process this morning. They're so good. I don't know if you can see that, but they're so good every day. Just like money in the bank, money in the bank, money in the bank, money in the bank. So good. They're definitely one of my favorite prop firms at the moment. Links are all down below. The prop firms I like with the codes are all down below for those of you who are new and joining. All right, ES relative strength here. Let's have a look at the breadth in the market for a second. Yeah, looks good. Like most of the sectors, especially on the S&P, they look good. All right, we go over this the last few days, but I think it might be my computer is starting to struggle here. I can't even drag this over. Okay, here we go. Can we make this smaller? Right, so there's the sectors, folks. So you can see tech's down. It's tech that's suffering today, which is why the Qs are weaker. But when we think about the sectors which are only in the S&Ps, financials looking good, healthcare looking good. All right, so why ES has relative strength today. Right, Eli and Lilly having a big day. Did that have earnings this morning? Or was that just data? What do you mean it's got no data? Come on. Raising forecast. There we go. Beast of a stop, this. Yeah, starting to turn the page there, Eli and Lilly. So back towards these highs, probably it wants to go. So that's why you're getting bump in healthcare and you're getting a bump in the financial sector this morning. A little bit of a bounce back after those banks were pretty weak yesterday. Sorry to hear that, Black Widow. Very, very sorry to hear that, my friend. Owen says, hey, Alex, thanks for a great stream. Learned a lot today. You're helping me improve my patience and identifying where traders are trapped. Yeah, nice, dude. That's the main name of the game, right? We can spot trap traders. We can use their pain to trade to the other side. Unfortunately, at the moment, we're just midpoint, right? If we think about what's happened here, because we're in rotation, there's your IB, there's value area low, there's value area high, rejection, rejection. All right, we've only got to play in here. And right now we're at VWAP, we're at point of control. We've got converging EMAs. There's no edge in this market here. Right, if you click buttons here, it's a 50-50 what happens. There's no edge in the market down here. Maybe some of you played, bid off this, on the reclaim there. I don't mind that, even that. But from here, I don't like the play. And I'll be totally honest with you. If I was feeling good clarity, I probably would have taken a bid from here. But I'm just not feeling like clicking buttons right now. All right, seeing some bids on the tape here as well. Look at these bids starting to step up. 26,000, 26.25, 26.37. Some big size there. Passive orders just sat there on the book. So they're starting to say, hey, we don't want to move lower here. We're going to absorb you if you come down into us. Nice, Bowden. Can you remind me as soon as we get off stream, or is there a way of adding you in here now? See if I can do that. And Nightbot's got a typo. I just see that, Scott. Pro tit trader. I like the sound of that prop firm. There you go, Adam. I added you, mate. Nihal, doesn't the daily loss limit follow you on TPT? Only when you're under the buffer, not when you're past the buffer. Right, so you're on a 50k, just get past 2,000 and then that's it. Yeah, I have to change that in Nightbot. Right, 15 more likes, folks, and we'll do a giveaway. That is funny. That's my bad. Yeah, correct, Adam. Once you're past the daily drawdown, so on a 50k, once you're past 2,000, that drawdown disappears, which is great. It means you can size in, and remember, you get same day payouts and no consistency rules. So, let's say, for example, today I was already past the drawdown on my TPT, which I am, and I got long here. Right, let's just call it the sixes with 2 contracts, and I paid myself here. Right, that would be $4,000. Right, and then I would pay myself straight away today 80% of that. They would keep 20% of that. They'd keep $800. You would take $3,200 in your bank account, and it normally takes, to be honest, 24 to 48 hours because you have to put in the request. They have to approve the request, and then you have to put it in your bank account. Once they've approved it, it's pretty quick. Yes, exactly. End of day drawdown. But it doesn't follow you. It doesn't follow you. It just sits at that buffer. Did I trade Euro FX futures in the past? Look, no, never traded FX. That was my father's speciality, and even he didn't really love it. So, no. FX not for me. I hate FX. I hate the fact that it's not a centralized exchange. You can get screwed over on the spread. A bit like CFDs. Anything that's not centralized, I'm not really interested in. So for those of you new, all I do, I trade futures, I swing stocks and ETFs. All right, so I'm still long right now in AMD. All right, I sold a big portion of my position, about 80% of my position earlier this week. All right, but I was long AMD from 158. We're now trading 258. So I sold into that 260 shove. I'm long Apple from 202. Right, so we're trading at 270s. These are also all called in Discord. For those of you who are new or who have joined Discord, make sure you're checking out the swing trading channel because I call the stuff I'm looking at there. So I'm long Amazon, only up 6%. I'm going to hold that through earnings. I've got a nice small core position I wanted to add. I'm long AMD. I'm up 62.5% in that. I'm long Apple. I'm up 31% in that. Still waiting here, folks. You can see the ATR's dropped off, the volume's dropped off. All right, have a look. Look, the volume's dropped off. Everything's dropped off. We're not doing like these big moves now. We're in consolidation phase while the market chooses what it wants to do because we still have no alignment. That's the key for me. If we're going to protect this low, are we going to drift upside? Yeah, probably. But the buy was down here. It's already 50. Well, it's actually 70 points away. Surprised ES didn't close its gap. It was right on top of it. Yeah, it came into it, didn't it? It's a long way to close it. I mean, it needs to trade all the way down to 27. It's a big old gap, that getting that gap up from the weekend. an upside gap into 22s today. So relative strength on ES at the moment, it's starting to move towards its initial balance high at the moment. It's into a congestion zone. So if you look at the pivot on ES from 5:50, 6 a.m. this morning, and also midnight last night, you can see it's stuck at its pivot. If we just look at this, zoom out, go to 15-minute, make it nice and clear. All right, we are stuck in this pivot. You can see it's a congested zone. All right, so the same question applies. Do they make a lower high here and come and retest this low? If not, and they get acceptance, they're going to want to run these stops to the upside. But so far, we've had a good sweep. So it would. I don't like that they've left that so clean. If we'd put excess here into that gap, it would actually be better for upside on ES. That's kind of nasty. Is that to the tick? Yeah, that would worry me on ES, to be honest, about thinking about a big upside move, protecting that low in that manner. But yeah, we're starting to push here on ES. VIX dropping, yeah, rejected above those 17s. Had 2 attempts at it under PDC, coming back down to PDL right now. It's got a base down here it can bid off. I just expect more range rotation. We're probably, someone said it earlier, that we're going to go in a holding pattern to lunch, and I said, well, don't count on it. But, you know, given that we've only got 40 minutes left, they are starting to look more and more like they're going to be probable. And it might be a holding pattern all the way into power hour until they start positioning for the earnings. And then you're going to have the options traders start to take over. They will start to take over. I really want to find this film for you guys who are vets. Give me a second. I know it's going to be in my archive. How do I see archived stories? There we go. In Waves and War is what it's called. In Waves. Here we go. Found it. When's this out? It's coming out, isn't it? November 3rd on Netflix. In Waves and War. Documentary: 3 Navy SEALs battling unrelenting psychological pain post-Iraq, Afghanistan. Seek healing through groundbreaking psychedelic therapy. I can tell you now, it saved one of my good friends in the last 2 weeks. So probably why you're getting such a big reaction from me today. But I cannot wait to watch that. Highly recommend it. The quicker they legalize alternative drugs for therapy, the better. It's doing groundbreaking work right now. Huge Bauer outage is going to call it a day. See you tomorrow. Take care, Peter. Nice work this morning on that short, buddy. Great work. See you tomorrow, mate. There he is. That's my buddy in chat now. Love you too, Andrew. Exactly, JD. Exactly. Alex, how's price action usually after earnings week? Is it back to normal potentially? Looking forward to next week. Yeah, I mean, definitely. Once we get the mag out of the way, it's like a bit of a think about what we had this week. We had 5 of the Mag 7 earnings. Anyone who had the newsletter, we were ready for this. 5 of the Mag 7 earnings. We were in a drift higher. We were in a breakout territory. We had FOMC, and we had the China discussion, which happened last night. Like insane amount of volatility, right? Insane amount of things. So next week, It all depends where we close this week. Do we leave value? Do we stay inside value? Is there any upside potential? But what are we seeing on the daily? The key thing here for me is what we're starting to see on the daily, which we go over every single day. While we do not want to be a buyer, it's starting to happen. We don't want to be a buyer above Mr. Bollinger Band. It's way too careful. But now we're seeing mean reversion 1 into 5 day. We found a bid there. By next week, maybe, or in a couple of weeks, 20-day will probably come into this gap, which will be the breakout point. At some point, we're going to offer this trade here, right, for that mean reversion. So maybe it's next week. Maybe they just bid back up and we keep this trend going, which is very, very possible between the 5-day and the Bollinger like this for a little bit longer, because this is still a week high. We didn't make it in New York, annoyingly. And then we offer this trade maybe back end of the year. Maybe we keep that gap open all the way to January. But yes, by next week, I think we're going to have some better action. But we're still bullish on the weekly, right? For now, it's just a bit of a pin high. Let's see how we close. Still got tomorrow to go, so we will see. We will see. Henrik, done for the day. 1 win. Nice work, mate. Psilocybin, yeah. Well, we share 80% of our DNA with a mushroom, so that says everything you need to know. Sitting at POC if yes, it's correct. Yeah, this red line on the chart will always be POC, right? Will always be POC. This red line is exactly where we're sitting at. So we're sitting at both VWAPs, POC, flow zones, everything flat. All right. This is when we see this, we start to become less interested. A move will come. All right, a move will come out of this range, because we're going to build liquidity in here and in here and in here, failing above, failing below, haven't tried above again. All right, this is the battleground. You can see it here on the volume. All right, testing each side of it. At some point, we're going to get a move outside of that, but they're going to build liquidity in there. And I don't want to become part of the liquidity. So we let them do their thing. SQQ, a good potential buy right now with NQ still running higher. Well, SQQ is short on QQQ. So unless you've got conviction, and remember, it's triple leveraged. So unless you've got conviction that we're going lower, all right, then I'd say no. You can see we held this bid here this morning on the Qs. All right, so if you've got conviction that the market, that NQ wants to move lower, then by all means. I'm not ready for this yet. I'm not ready for a swing long in SQQQ yet. I know we talked about it yesterday, but I think I will wait until Monday and see where we set up Monday, because I want to sit in it a while if we're going to do it. Ricky Perry came on Rogan for his support for the vets and psychiatric therapy. Yeah, I think I listened to that one. Is there a reason you use up-down volume on total volume on the profile here rather than tick volume? But no real reason. It's just what I've always used. What I've always used. 7 more likes, folks, and we'll do this giveaway. You can see the market has now not moved for 20 minutes. Market's gone to sleep, man. It's absolutely gone to sleep. Yeah, YM explosive upside and then has failed to take the high though. RTY just sat still, no move in small caps, but yeah, YM big drive out this morning. Yeah, you're right, Adam. It is. Snake pattern. It's a new ICT pattern. The snake venom pattern. All his names, man. Venom this and God, he comes out with some shite. It's hilarious. Oh, all right. I'm bored. Let's do a giveaway here because this market's not moving. Let's do a giveaway yet. Okay. The word today is going to be PMA, positive mental attitude. You want to come in this room, that's what you've got to have when you come here each day. All right, PMA, we give away a free course. That's all I want each day is people just turn up with positive mental attitude, help each other, trade together, enjoy some success together. This guy down here is just playing games. Is he even on the other contract? Is this just a market maker? Oh, he's big size down there. And that's legit. Yeah, he's a big boy down there into the 26,000s. He's a big boy down there. Give you guys a couple more minutes and we'll give away that free course. And then after that, we're doing Apex giveaway, folks. Still annoyed. Shows. It just shows. It looks like they want to fill this guy if possible. Big boy down there. All right, let's pull the winner here, folks. Sorry if I've been distracted today, team. Only human, I'm only human. Right. Melanie. Melanie, you are the winner. Are you here, Melanie? It's the first time I've seen that name in chat. Hopefully you're here. There you are. Congratulations, Melanie. All right, all I need you to do, shoot me an email. All right, info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube so I know it's you. I'm going to save your name right now so I know it's you when you email me. All right, so I just need you to prove to me that it's you, and I'll sort you out with a free beginner course. All right, so info@flowzonetrader.com. I'm going to do one more giveaway. We're doing Apex account here. Okay, FZT in chat. You know the score by now. FZT gets you the best deal on most your prop firms out there. FCT will get you the best deal. I don't think so, Scott. I think, as far as I know, and if it ever runs out, then I can just get a new code for the winner. But no, normally not. Come on, what's going on here? So you can see these lots stacked up here. They're legit. I just checked on the other. This is a legit buy down here at 26,000. 200, 200, 200. 600 lot just sat there. Just sat there. Again, the market is heavy. All right. Other than Google and Apple, which are holding up well, the market has been in a sell. It just depends whether they want to wash that level or not. Like I said, one thing I don't like when we had a look at ES is that double bottom to the tick. That's no excess on it is dangerous. Same as down here, lack of excess. We've got good excess at the highs, not much excess at these lows right now. Give you a couple more minutes here, folks. Starting to break down here. Starting to break down here. Okay, let's pull this winner here, folks. Stefan? Stefan, are you here, Stefan? So we just... Did they just pull? What a nasty... Look at this guy here on the tape. If you look at Bookmap, he pulled his order. Spoofer. Spoofer. Has he moved down lower? No, just complete spoofing. All right, nice one. Same thing applies to you, Stefan. Just make sure you email me with a picture of the back end of your YouTube so I know it's you. And I will sort you out with a free Apex account, any size that you want. Remember, if you want to use Apex, FCT is the best code to use always. But congratulations, my friend. What do I mean by lack of excess? Normally, if it's a good high or a good low, normally we just put in an expansive wick like this before moving up, rather than like a walk down and a turnaround. And you'd want this print, see this print here, you'd want it to look a bit more like this. All right, so there is some, but it's it's pretty small. And if you looked at a TPO, it would show excess on a TPO. If we put a TPO on here, what chart do I have a TPO on? All right, if we go to a 5 minute, we do have just one block down there, but it's nicer when it's multiple blocks. How do I move you into it? All right, so if we think about, I rarely use this now because I don't really need it, but all right, here's our TPO, time priced opportunity. And if we move this into regular trading hours. All right, we do have a little bit, but what's nice, when is there good excess, is when it's rather large. Like this is really good excess, right? Like this, all right, where we come quickly into expansion of a level and reject it. All right, so 3 blocks down here in that period before moving away. So more than 1 block ideally is always nice, but there is some excess down there. There's 1 block right now, but it wouldn't surprise me to see it get run. Really would not. Especially knowing that ES didn't leave, didn't get through its liquidity at that bottom in the middle of that gap on ES. Definitely starting to break down here. You're seeing weakness coming to this market. Strong selling coming in here. Strong market selling. These buyers are starting to get liquidated by the looks of it. These buyers are starting to get liquidated. W on the POC rejection and flow zone flip. Nice, Psychosis. Yeah, so you were back into this volume down here where we found bids earlier. This is where sellers got trapped. So that roll here got sold into. We said eventually we're here for a long time. Once we let go one side, we will see a move out of it. That is the move out of it. Like I said, I'm not in the right frame of mind to be trading right now, so I'm just controlling mentally where I'm at right now. We've got 20 more minutes left. So an old anchor view up here. Where's this anchored off? Is it yesterday's print? Find this. Man, that's a CPI. Is that a CPI print? What day is that? Friday. What was Friday last week? CPI. This is a CPI anchored VWAP here that we keep bidding off in this green block. This is the average price of participants from that CPI 8:30 a.m. candle from last Friday. It's right where we are. I'm going to get rid of it, but I know where it is. Okay, so adding liquidity lower now. Someone's just trying to walk this down and, you know, flash price lower, trying to get the market to come towards them. And every time they do it, the market is going towards it, and then they're pulling the bid. Vic starting. See, I've lost connection again. TPT. This is what I get. TPT unable to establish the connection. Panic. This is what I get, and then data just disappears. Bloody annoying. We're at the 5-day. Yes, we are at the 5-day also. But I think you might well see them clean up these lows, whether it's now or later in the day. Let me see. This is where they bid off numerous times. Once here and again. Maybe we go rotation back to here or here before seeing if they want to come lower. Maybe into here would be key now. That's midpoint of this drive. Yeah. Yeah, we're at the 5-day. We are at the 5-day. Relative strength right now in the ES. No worries, Gregor. In the buy zone, yeah, well, it's not necessarily a buy zone. It's an area where shorts got trapped this morning, but, you know, we've revisited it twice. Structurally, there's nothing to be bidding off yet. All right, it's an area that we're definitely reacting off. We know it's high time frame demand. We know shorts got trapped here this morning, but I wouldn't say just because we move away from it doesn't necessarily mean there's a way of playing it, if that makes sense. Unless you just like, you know, if you like buying in these zones and you risk the edge of the zone, if that's how you play, it's not how I play, but if that's how you play by all means. If you're the way that you like to play, for example, is like you're long here, you risk that and you're targeting the other side. Sure, if that's your strategy. It's just not how I play. I like to play momentum when it comes in. Here's the retest of that 26,000. Watching this New York Open here on ES as well. Edge of value here. If we trade through this, there's a little node here at 30s and then obviously POC above. If we reject this, then I would imagine they come and try and clean up these lows before lunch. Use a bathroom here quick. Be right back. Okay, so there we go. There's the 26k reject. They want to clean up these lows right now, like we talked about. They will want to clean up these lows and try and see if they can leave some excess. So sort of bear flag breakdown. If you took this for this rejection of this blue zone, remember this should be red now. I just haven't changed it. All right, then move your stop into the money. If you took this move from here, rejecting value, they will try and clean up some of this. Underneath this, there might be a panic moment and a bigger flush. Very, very possible underneath that they go panic moment and bigger flush. So if you got that, congratulations. Come on, book that. So I'd say you're sort of 26k over under right now. Under that, they look to take out those lows and clean them up. ES is still protecting previous day low right now. Relative strength in the ES. VIX is trying to reclaim PDC. Fairly bullish so far, the VIX. So on those drift down this morning, we talked about it. It came into that demand area. It actually didn't even get all the way down. Protected 1635, bid back off it. Ten more minutes here, team. I'm not going to stay longer today, team. I'm going to be really honest with you. I cannot wait to get off the charts right now and go for a walk. But before any of you think that I've done something stupid or anything like that, I've completely controlled my emotions, all right? I'm just... I wanted to link accounts today, but once I feel any form of tilt factor, it is a risk off, size down kind of scenario for me. This can very much be a liquidity breakdown here, folks. Ooh, don't do that, Alex. If they let go of this, right, think about all the buyers that came in here and they rebid this, and they're trying to rebid this. You're going to have a lot of buyers down there. If they liquidate this, right, there's two things happen. Quick snapback, or probably more likely, bigger dunk. We'll see. We'll see if they defend it or not. No worries, Miguel. Take care, bud. Yeah, don't let it get to you, mate. Don't let it get to you. It's not necessarily that guy that's got to me. It's just a lack focus. A lack focus. I can feel like a pang in here. Some of you will know I've got enough going on in my life right now to be dealing with nonsense. All right, VIX starting to get going here, folks. PDC here on VIX. Yes, a little bit weak, still protecting previous day low so far in the year. So I'd still say that 26,000 is your over under. All right, this kind of level here is your over under. If they start reclaiming this, we're going to go straight back to POC. That's kind of the level here. And if they reclaim this, we go right back up to these 2650. So through here, probably a 50, 40 point squeeze up into this level here. If they get acceptance through there, they're going to try and rotate to higher day. Otherwise, we want to clean this out. That's what it feels like to me, is the market trying to build liquidity down here to come and clean this out. It doesn't have to do it. It just feels like what it's trying to do at the moment. Remember, the mag is weak. Tesla 4.5% down. Nvidia 2.30% down. Nvidia, Microsoft 3.5% down. Meta 11.71% down. Still not really finding too much of a bid. Amazon 1.5% down. The strength today coming from Google 4.86% up, and Apple 0.5% up. Yeah, I've had the same, Clint. I don't know what's going on there this morning on NinjaTrader. It was almost like people thought I was lying. I even showed the error message. I'm not sure. Definitely some issues between Tradeify and CME this morning. Some data issues for sure. What do I listen to? What music do you mean, Aaron? Is that for me? I wasn't sure if that was for me. All my stuff's old. I hate all the new music. All my stuff's old, and I can tell you, like, on my playlist. So Where's my Apple Music? If that's what you mean, do you mean music or do you mean podcasts? So I have this playlist here, which is like my favorite music from like 2009 to 2014. So it's all like Maceo Plex and the old Clapton and old Solomon and Finnebasson and all that kind of stuff. All the old hot natured stuff. Is my music on Spotify? Yeah. All my old stuff is under Tough Love. That was a duo I was in. I left 4 years ago now, maybe a bit longer. So all the big hits will be there. Actually, about to touch wood. Looks like we're about to do a new deal with Atlantic, which would be fun. Re-releasing some of our old records with new edits, and my new stuff's under Addion. I just do that for fun. That's just for fun. It's just for me to enjoy making music. Nice to do something creative. All right, 5 more minutes here. Still feel like we're just building out this liquidity versus this. This is the level here. This is where all the volume's been. If they trade into this and fail and let go of this, we come straight down into there. If they reclaim this thin structure up here, we come straight up into POC. I'd say there's a little node here to be aware of, which is basically this pivot. So I'd say this is possible. This is possible. Both things are possible. Remember, we're still fighting time frames here, but we're starting to see this come into here as we've seen weakness here on this sell. Right, so sell points starting to come, but the reason it's lagging today is because we're in rotation. So I tend to ignore flow zones a bit more in rotational moves. Oh, when I go walking, I just listen to a podcast when I go walking. What do I listen to? I'm going to plug my friend. My favorite one to listen to is Spiritual Mixtape, my friend Daisy. When she does her breathworks, I really like that. You can also, if you fly British Airways, you find her on there. I listen to Rogan. Sometimes I listen to Stephen Bartlett. It depends on the guests. Some of the guests I think are awful. I used to listen to Ant Middleton, but seeing as he's gone mental recently, I'm not interested in listening to him anymore. Lost the plot. Bill Burr, I like listening to because he's a moany bastard like me. Always enjoy that. So squeeze up into these sixes. Can they find acceptance through this back to point of control now, or is this a trap to move lower? Is the question. They just search for liquidity. So into this thin node here. This is the kind of level we just talked about. There is a little node above it. Right into here. 30s. But I want to see, do they protect this for this wash down into lunch? That's the question. Or do they save it for after lunch? You can see they're rejecting that level right now, that over-under level. For now, ES back to New York Open and New York VWAP. So ES right at the midpoint of its initial balance as well. I think we want to move lower. It's just, I think it's a question of when. Not that we need to puke out loads, but I think they will want to run that low of day. It's just a question of when at the moment for me, whether they do it before lunch or they save it for the afternoon session. I don't think there's necessarily a big rollover in this market today, but I just wonder, do they want to create a bit more excess down there into sort of 900s? But who knows? who knows? I'm not a market maker. I can only trade what's in front of me. At the moment, it's a battle. All right, we put a new low in this lower time frame. We're pivoting off it. Bulls now will try and protect this pivot here. All right, bulls will want this rotation. Bears will want this failure. It's as simple as that. And this is not a good location to sell at. This is risky to sell at, but it at least offers something. But you know, there's no way of offering a stop on this. So you might want to let it build and play backside here. Let it put in a pivot and then play backside, so you've got something to risk off. You need bulls trapped in this for it to offer that move. ES is rejecting its VWAP right now. Back down to value again. So just no acceptance outside of value or initial balance all day long. 1 minute left, folks, and then I'm going to get off here. Oh, I love Bill Burr. He's great. He's great. I love the special he did. I went to see him live for it, where he was talking about taking mushrooms and seeing the cowboy and stuff. Any of you seen that? It's so good. He's great. I've been really lucky. I've been to so many live events the last few years. Seen him twice live. I've seen Ricky twice since being over here at the Bowl. I've seen who else have I seen? How do you say his name? Why can't I think of it? I want to say Stefan, but it's not. All right, team, I'm out of there. I'm out of here, team. Be safe this afternoon. Just remember, if you're going to hang around, we're in range rotation. The range rotation is pretty big right now. You've got 240 points in that initial balance. And you have to see if you get follow through today or not. It will be interesting to see what they do of this low, whether they just wick it and trade back inside if they come for it. Just be smart, all right? Be smart, because you've got earnings tonight. As you get closer and closer to that power hour, they're going to start positioning themselves on the options chain. It will start getting wonky. It will start getting wonky. So please don't hang around too late. Don't be gambling on earnings. It is just not worth it. All right, folks. Peace and love, everyone. And yes, see you tomorrow morning. We'll close out this week strong. With all the news out of the way, we should get some nice follow through tomorrow. Touch wood, unless they save it for Monday. Let's hope tomorrow we get follow through. All right, take care.